meeting. All right, we are going to resume the Board of County Commissioners meeting and take up item number 14, which is the finalization of 4 candidates to move forward into the interview process. So we can do several things, but my suggestion might be, we all have read the documentation. Why don't we just say who we would like to move forward, and whoever gets the most amount of votes, we take those 4 people. Commissioner Weiss.
I had some questions I wanted to ask staff.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
Thank you. In reviewing these candidates, was any research done onto them as to any disciplinary actions, any types of things that might be an issue that we might need to know or would be advisable for us to know about?
I confirmed that all 7 of the applicants in front of you are in good standing with the bar. Also, they're all in good standing with the federal court.
That's, have they had any disciplinary actions against any of them?
Not according to the bar website.
I don't think that's accurate. I know it's not accurate. So I think we deserve to have these candidates vetted. Because if we were to make a decision to hire one of them and not know everything in their background, I think it would be a challenge for us.
Let's see if the person you know that information about is even selected before we make it a deal.
But if I know it about one, could it exist about others?
Would this be something that between now and when an offer is made, and they're vetted at that time, and then if something is in the record that is untoward, we go to the next person on the list?
We look at any websites, we look at any social media. Is there anything that, or do we need to do that research ourselves?
Once we pick the 4 people, let's have to.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think, and we could get better insight from Attorney State Senator Commissioner Maria Sachs, who is a member of the Florida Bar. One of the things I can tell you that I know from living with a member of the Florida Bar is there are strenuous standards that they have to go through. If they're currently able to practice, there's probably a high indication that they've met the standards. They have a code of ethics that they also go by to be members of the bar. And generally speaking, to even be able to sit for the bar and pass, you have to go through a number of strict standards. And then to maintain that, the Florida Bar News also reports every month the number of attorneys who've had some type of disciplinary action against them, and those things are noted. So if they have been an attorney and then they were either suspended for a period of time, or they lost their license and had to reapply to be currently a part of the Florida Bar, would indicate that they have gone through some strenuous standards, because I do know of cases where people have had even some type of infraction with law enforcement where they were not able to be, not able to receive their license to practice or their bar license because they had an altercation or a domestic dispute or something that challenged them being able to practice. So I do want to just recognize that to be one of the standards is to have passed the bar, and to be currently in good standing with the Florida Bar would probably indicate that those individuals have met a higher level of standard. Even the bar does background research before they can even take it. But because I'm not an attorney, I do want to yield to someone who I do know who is an attorney on the board. I want to phone a friend and reach out to, I want to reach down there to Commissioner Sachs.
Before I do that, Commissioner Weiss, did you have any additional comments?
Yeah, I mean, I want to, I guess there really is a concern about that these candidates have been vetted for being above reproach, above, there's nothing in their backgrounds that we need to know about. I mean, all we have is a resume. We know nothing about the background of these folks. I mean, whether there's and people can be members of the bar, they can have a license to practice law, but they could have also had issues, legal issues of their own. There could be other things in their background, and we don't have any of that information in front of us. And I think with this position, I mean, this position is responsible for protecting this board, for the county, for the people of Palm Beach County. Potentially millions of dollars are at stake by decisions that they make. And, as I was going through the resumes, realizing I see the resumes, I can read them, and they all look wonderful. But what's really in the background of these people that have applied for these positions. Is there anything that we should know about before we make a decision? And I agree there probably is time to get that done, but it certainly needs to be done. These people need to be vetted before, before we, and if we choose somebody who has something in their background, there's no point in interviewing them.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Senator and Commissioner Bobby Powell. I'm a member of the Florida and California bars and the federal bar. Dr. Khan, I know who you are, but could you introduce your team?
I'm
Do
sorry?
you have people sitting next to you? Could you introduce who's?
Okay.
Okay.
This is Tracy.
Deputy County Administrator Tracy Ellison.
Nice to see you.
Jean Williams, Assistant County Attorney.
Very good. Thank you very much. I agree with my fellow Commissioner Greg Weiss. I like them all. However, this is probably one of the most important positions that we have, and I'm looking at our county attorney. This is huge because this person will represent 1.5 million people here on the board, as well as the county government as a whole. And I think they all look great. I wish we could have them all. But I think we need a deeper dive and investigation. I want to know if, for example, this is government, we're going to hire somebody. Has anyone had a criminal infraction against them? Maybe not a felony, but maybe misdemeanors? Has anybody ever announced a bankruptcy? Anybody been involved in any legal issues? Do we have an investigative office, Dr. Khan?
I wouldn't call it an investigative office, but we do criminal background checks on anyone who's hired. We can do a deeper dive into any infractions involving any of these individuals, but I don't know that we can get that done before Monday.
It's your job to give us qualified individuals to serve as our county attorney. Whatever you need to do, I recommend that you do it. But just knowing that they're members of the Florida Bar, some folks here look like they're members of other state bars as well. I don't think that in this day and age it would take too much to do a good investigative reporting of who would be an applicant for our county attorney. They're all wonderful qualifications from a resume that they submitted for our review. But I would rely on your office, please, to do a deeper dive. I also said at the very beginning of our discussion, I'd like to know if anybody actually sued the county.
And that information was requested when they submitted the resume, and everything that they submitted was submitted to all of you when you received the resumes.
I'd like to see your office come and give us, for example, John Doe. Where is he from? What has he done? Has he ever been? And it may be that he was part of a law firm that sued the county, and that's understandable. But have they ever been part of that, active part of that lawsuit? Bankruptcy, these sorts of things are open to the public. It's not anything that's confidential. So I agree with my fellow commissioner that we do need to have a more depth and investigation on this from your office, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was just going to suggest, we're narrowing this down today, so prior, hopefully, to Monday, but especially after that, just doing a criminal and financial background on anybody applying or that we've selected today, I think could be a huge help to us.
And just for a point of reference, when we submit these, when we do criminal background checks, those go through the state, it typically takes 48 hours on work days.
Have you already done it on these applicants, or what is standard practice? Do you do it after they're hired just to confirm that what they've said is true?
Typically, it's with a contingent hire.
Okay.
And then once it's contingent on them passing their background check.
Awesome. So as long as they pass, if we select them, as long as they pass a criminal background, and I'd also like to expand that into a financial background check,
Okay.
I think that would be amazing.
Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I was just going to say that we could do that prior to the Monday meeting. It takes 48 hours, but it can be done, we can get it back within 24 hours
It's
sometimes.
up to the state.
Yeah.
So we don't have any control over when we can receive that.
Today's Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday at the latest. Thank you.
Commissioner Flores?
Yeah, I do echo the sentiments of Commissioner Weiss. However, normally if you would have gone 100 applicants, we're not running background checks on all 100 applicants, right? So I think it's adequate for us to trim today based on what they have submitted, allow you the opportunity to go back and do some due diligence, and at the very latest, by Tuesday, when we're doing these public meetings, we should have a response regarding their background, especially if somebody is, they have something questionable in their past. That way, they should be able to answer any questions that we may have regarding that particular issue. So I am ready to move forward to trim this down to a short list and allow our team and our staff be able to do that. I also want to recognize that we decided the timeline, and we sort of told them what we were going to do, and we have to be fair to them. We were the ones that chose 27th, 28th, and if there was information that we needed to be uncovered before, that should have been shared with them earlier. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss and Commissioner Powell, your lights are both still on. Would you like to continue?
Yeah, and I'm okay with narrowing this list down, but whoever is coming in front of us, I would like to know, in addition, my understanding is that we can do FDLE, you can go online, if people have access to it, can get it immediately. And then secondarily, though, and as my colleague said, financial, but any liens, any garnishments, any, things that you would normally want to know about somebody, and I think somebody needs to go online and also, is there things that are potentially people have put out online that could embarrass us or disqualify somebody? We hear about, you hear about cases where people are seeking appointments to important positions, and then they go back and they find things that they put out online. They've said things that are horrendous. And I don't want us to be embarrassed or have to rescind something and make that kind of mistake because we didn't do our homework. And I think it's really important that we do that before we offer a job to anybody.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell?
No, I would just agree with the commissioners who have said earlier, let's go ahead and narrow down the list today. And if we get to the 4 or 3, and we can look at those who have applied and do a deeper dive, but I want to move forward, and we'll see what happens there.
Thank you. All right, so I guess since we're all in accord with trying to pare this list down, why don't we go ahead, and I guess the best way to do that would just be to call in a commissioner and give us your top 2, 3, or 4, whatever you feel like you want to move forward. Would that be amenable to the board? Okay. Commissioner Flores, are you ready?
And we're saying that the top 4 vote getters are moving on?
I think that would be, that's the consensus of the board, and that's what actually we wrote into the agenda item was 4 people.
So in no particular order, I'm just reading the way that it's listed on my list here. David Audie, Michael Jones, Michael Napoleon, and Kay Denise Hare.
Commissioner Sachs, who would you like to move forward?
Well, I'm going to list all 7, I'm sorry, but I just don't know enough. Some of these resumes don't have dates when they were admitted to the bars. So I'm going to, I will interview all 7. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will move forward with Michael Jones, David Oddie, Attorney John Melick, and I'll move forward those 3.
Okay. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to have, my list is David Audie, Kay Denise Hare, Michael Napoleon, and Michael Jones.
I'm sorry, what was the second name? Kay Denise? Okay.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would, in no particular order, like to move forward with David Audie, Michael Jones, Michael Napoleon, and Denise Hare.
Thank you. And again, in no particular order, David Audie, Kay Denise Hare, Michael Jones, and Michael Napoleon. And I believe Administrator Abruzzo has Commissioner Woodward's choices.
I do, Madam Mayor, and it's not controversial because in the vote tally, her or 3 of the top 4 have been chosen: David Oddie, Michael Jones, Michael Napoleon, and John Malick.
Thank you.
Denise Hare and John Malick are the only.
So the way it looks, do you want to give us a tally? It looked like Audie, Jones, Napoleon, and Hare were the ones, the 4 that received the top votes. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, the top 4 are David Audie with 7, Michael Jones and Michael Napoleon with 6 each, and then Kay Denise with 5.
Okay.
Yes, David Audie had 7 votes, Michael Jones had 6 votes, Michael Napoleon had 6 votes, and Kay Denise had 5 votes.
Thank you. So with that, the motion would be to move forward to interviews on Monday. David Audie, Mike Jones, Michael Napoleon, and Kay Denise Hare. And if Commissioner Sachs wants to interview all 7, she's more than welcome to, but the rest of us will be interviewing those 4. Commissioner Sachs.
Dr. Khan, will you be able to give us what we have requested on or about Monday?
We're going to work on that as soon as I walk out of here, so as
Good.
long as I get it from the state, yes.
You know, the sheriff's office has a provision where you can do a national search on somebody's criminal record as long as you have authority to do that. I mean,
I'm
used to
not-
be an hour or 2, so.
I have not used that one. We use the official one through the state.
Well, that's the same. It's the same, sir. But if you want to do it in an efficient and timely way, I don't know, how long do you wait to get yours right now? When you look at-
Typically, it's within 24 hours. Sometimes
Okay.
it's a little bit longer.
Well,
But we do need to get letters, we need consent letters from each of these applicants to do the background checks, as we do with
Well,
everybody.
if they don't consent, then they're not considered,
And
period.
we've
End
never
of
had an issue
story.
with them. It's about getting the form back in a timely manner, but with these 4, they've all been very responsive through this process, so I don't expect that to take very long.
so you will request, what I'm saying is that we're going to take our time to review these. And I need to know, and I know my colleagues do as well, if they have any criminal record or financial records. How long will it take you to do that, sir?
We are going to initiate as
So
soon
I
as
know you're going to initiate, but when will you be
We're
done?
relying on outside bodies to get us information, so I'm hoping to have it back by Monday, possibly Tuesday morning.
Good luck. Thank you.
So that would be board direction to move those 4 names forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may.
Commissioner
Would you
Sacks.
make all 7 available for me, please, sir? Thank you, sir.
Somewhere out of town, so,
We'll do it on Zoom. It works really well in my office.
okay.
All right, with that, we will go back to the agenda.
We got a process question.
Sure.
And we talked about this, I just want to confirm that if there is someone that Commissioner Sacks feels strongly about that is not a part of the 4, she's interviewing all 7, she can give that person a rebirth, right? She can bring them back to life. Am I correct?
That was not my understanding of the process you agreed on. I think you agreed that if out of the 7 that you looked at for today, you wanted to add somebody to the list that was going to be interviewed, that you could do it today.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. I just like to put my objection down because I do not think that we have enough information supplied to us today by personnel to make an informed decision as to a very, very important employment situation with the county, represent the Board of County Commissioners and government. And I cannot really make a decision on 4, so I made a decision on 4 plus 3. And that's the way it is. And if there's something that comes up between now and then, I would imagine that you would inform all of us, would you not, Mr. Khan? Okay, because we haven't, as of yet, in my opinion, done our due diligence in having a criminal search or a informative financial search yet. Thank you, sir.
So there is actually a need for a motion, and the motion is for the board to finalize the 4 candidates. There are 4 candidates have been moved forward or suggested, so I need a motion and a second.
He first, second.
Commissioner Powell.
Make the motion.
Okay, so there is a motion to move Audie, Jones, Napoleon, and Hare forward. We have, why don't we take a vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? See, that motion carries 6-1.
Madam
Excuse
Mayor.
me, Mayor?
5-1, I apologize because
Correct.
Commissioner Woodward is not here. The motion maker was Powell, the second was Flores.
Thank you.
And the attorney has her light on.
I just wanted to clarify that the direction to staff is not just to do this formal inquiry, but also to do internet searches and do their own.
The broadest search that we can have,
Right.
and bring that back to us hopefully Monday. Administrator.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a point of clarification for the county attorney because I want to be extremely fair to Commissioner Sacks and both the applicants. The 3 applicants that were not just voted upon, even if they were brought into interview, they would not be allowed to sit for the actual next round of interviews regardless. Is that the way that it would
That's
happen?
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
And if, in fact, there is one of the 4 who has a background that would not be appropriate, then what do we do then, Madam Attorney?
Number 3.
If they're not disqualified, then it would just be information that the board would consider in making their decision.
So the qualifications do not include criminal background or financial background?
I don't believe they do.
Yes or no? The answer is no.
No.
So if somebody could have a criminal background, they would still be qualified to serve as county attorney
If they're
for Palm Beach
qualified as an
County.
attorney, which we know these all are, any other kind of felony or any kind of conviction would disqualify them for being an attorney.
But not necessarily as a member of the bar in the state of Florida, but not necessarily if they would have any other violation of the law that's not a felony.
That's correct. They
So they
could
could have
be-
a criminal violation.
They could have an
which is
IRS
not just
lien.
an IRS lien, bankruptcy, or
Right.
a criminal violation on a civil matter or criminal
Absolutely.
misdemeanor that would not disqualify them. But we would
Absolutely.
know that, but for the record, we would still allow that to be qualified to serve as county attorney.
That's correct.
And that's what I object to. Okay, thanks, thank you.
But again, any background check will be made before an offer is completed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just a point of correction also, when I was giving you the counts, Michael Jones also had 7.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Administrator, and, I'm sorry, Administrator and then Commissioner Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. Just another point of, will we only be doing the background checks on the 4 that were selected?
Correct.
Thank you.
All good? Okay. Clear as mud? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are now going to go back to our agenda. This will be item number 13, golf cart regulations. Whoever wants to come up and speak on this, we're happy to have you here. All righty.
Right. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board of Commissioners. I am David Riggs, County Engineer, Director of Engineering Public Works. With me to my left is Jordan Keller, Deputy County Engineer. Off me to the right is Liz Herman from the County Attorney's Office. And before you, we're going to go through what was requested by the board at a previous board meeting about golf cart regulations. And so we're given directions several months ago to take a look at golf cart regulations. And since then, I provided a memo to the board at the end of September. Then we did an update to that memo on October 9th to provide a lot of information and background on golf carts. And so before we get into the recommendations, I want to clarify what are the vehicles we're talking about. Okay, keep going. Okay, first one's golf carts. They're basically used as a recreational vehicle. They go no more than 15 or 20 miles an hour. And then another type, which we're not going to get into, is called low-speed vehicles. And that's what that little picture, the second picture, is similar to golf carts, but they can go a little faster than the golf cart, 20, 25 miles an hour. But this presentation is really talking about golf carts. And the last is all-terrain vehicles, ATVs. And those also has a series of regulations on that. And so driving this is a Florida statute, 3.162.112. And it really talks about golf carts on certain roadways, prohibits golf carts on public roadways unless designated by a county, municipality, water control districts. They can be used on sidewalks if a sidewalk is 8 feet wide. So that's critical. The other piece of that is the golf cart operation, when authorized, must be equipped with efficient brakes, reliable steering apparatus, safe tires, a rearview mirror, and red reflecting warning devices front and rear. A golf cart that meets the statutory definition is operating pursuant to the golf cart statute is exempt from the vehicle registration requirements which proof of insurance. Enforcement regulations falls to within that jurisdiction. So that's the key part of this. And so, on our research, we went through and found out there's several municipalities that actually already have a golf cart regulation. And I'll just briefly go through some of the ones that we have found. For the city of Westlake, they had one on October 20th, 2020. They amended it 2 years ago, October 2023. They allow golf carts on municipal streets, except for especially excluded some of Pratt Whitney Road, the larger road, 60th Street, and Town Center Parkway East. Allows golf carts on sidewalks and shared route path, the 8 feet or greater, and speed of 15 miles an hour is critical. Town of Lake Park, they had an ordinance in 2024, similar to the speed of 25 miles an hour. And also they allow low-speed vehicles on municipal streets, 35 limits or less. Town of Natchez Groves, they've had one for several years. 2013, they allowed golf carts on streets with 30 miles an hour or less. The Village of North Palm, municipal golf carts ordinance 2021, May, and golf carts on all municipal streets. And Village of Tequesta, their ordinance 2023, golf carts on designated streets. Village of Wellington, golf carts ordinance, March 28, 2022, on their municipal roads, 25 speed limit. Set limits for golf carts on multi-use pathways, 15 miles an hour, and they designate certain roadways for those golf carts. So that's key. And so based upon that, we're looking at, areas that could be implemented initially, and we looked at area on Acme Dairy Road. It's a very good opportunity. Actually, the HOA presented it to the district commissioner several months ago, looking at that, and it's related to because they have two, a middle school, Boys Boyd Middle School, a Sunset Palms Elementary, and along Acme Dairy Road, there's an existing 8-foot pathway. This would be ideal for a test location. And then we got county property along the Canyons Library. They also could be used as part of this whole Acme Dairy area. Another option is looking at golf carts on countywide certain retained streets. What I had before you is a map that has, we did a quick research, there's about 800 miles of roadway, 35 miles or less. One of that, about a majority of them are paved. Requires a lot more research to designate certain areas, but that's one option for the board. And lastly, another separate direction is looking at all-terrain vehicles. The board, several years in 2007, limited that use of those type of all-terrain vehicles on unpaved roads, not having that, or any paved roads. And so these are three options for the board to consider.
Was there any specifics about if in fact these, and I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you, so
Right.
if in fact these vehicles are allowed on a road, what is the minimum age of the driver? Because most HOAs and most communities that allow golf carts, you have to have a license. And also, if we're allowing carts on county roads, there needs to be insurance in place, because for those of you that don't know, I actually was in a golf cart accident that resulted in me breaking my back. So there needs to be insurance, and I think there needs to be some qualification. So I'm just throwing that out there.
So it requires, you got to be a licensed driver on a golf cart. Now, per the state statute, if a municipality allows it on a local street, technically you don't have to be registered, but we can make that part of the ordinance. So, am I correct, Joanne?
That's not possible.
Per the Florida statute, that if you're under 18, the statute requires that you have a learner's permit. So that's the requirement for under 18. Over 18, you have to be a licensed driver or have a government-issued ID.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Weiss, your light was on, and then Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you. When you talk about an 8-foot sidewalk, what if there's poles or other things that are in the sidewalk? Is that still counted as being an 8-foot sidewalk?
We would have to take a look at those specific locations and make modifications to that sidewalk to make sure there's 8-foot clearance completely, not including the pole. And so the one we're recommending is clearance, 8-foot clearance. There's no obstructions throughout the whole length of the roadway on Acme Dairy, the west side of the road. But any other location that we're talking about, specifically, we will have to look at that specific location and make sure we're doing any modification to that sidewalk to make sure we have appropriate sidewalk width to do that.
And I know we, in a number of areas, we've installed the multi-use pass.
Right.
In addition, so some areas have both a sidewalk and a multi-use pass. Some have
Right.
just the multi-use path in some areas.
Right.
is that one of your considerations or recommendations to include those?
Yeah, we could, what we would have to do is put, every location requires specific signage, indicate this is a golf cart pathway, and before we do that, make sure that that pathway meets all our, we call the minimum requirements, for instance, 8-foot clearance and some other things. And so my option number one is looking at Dairy because it already has the infrastructure there. Any other areas we'll have to look at in terms of how we would limit other locations in terms of how to make sure that we specify the right area. So this cannot be countywide. We'll have to bring specific locations once we do some research. I know you had to recommend the Pioneer Road, some other places as potential options, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I guess I'm okay with certainly I'm okay with with what you're proposing with Acme Dairy Road. That area that seems like that can be reasonably accommodated. I do share the mayor's concern about having insurance and not being operated by unlicensed drivers. I think that's, if you're gonna be interacting with people on the roadway, you should know the rules of the road to keep everybody safe. People in the golf carts, the people that are in vehicles as well. So knowing, who's got right of way and that, because you're also responsible for protecting the pedestrians and the bicyclists and other people. Now these are considered. Well, maybe I should ask a question. Who has, obviously pedestrians always have the right of way, but with these golf carts, who has the right of way between that and a bicycle or an electric scooter, or where is this all going? And
the regulations doesn't give us a lot of clarity on that. And so we would have had to put in the ordinance in terms of our, what we want to have in terms of guidance. We pulled the other regulations for the other municipalities. All they require is that you stay within 15 miles an hour, maximum speed, and you basically observe, basically other modes of transportation as you work through that path. But doesn't has a priority in terms of having, e-bikes or other ones priority versus golf carts. But we can take a look at that and provide language in the proposed ordinance.
I mean, have you guys looked into it? I mean, should the golf carts be yielding to bicyclists, or
I think they should use all more, because the golf cart is the largest vehicle on that pathway, and they should yield to all other modes of transportation. That'd be my opinion.
Okay.
But when we pull the other, we talked about the other municipalities in this that I listed. We pulled basically their ordinance, and it's pretty vague in terms of that level of guidance. All it requires basically no more than 50 miles an hour. It's a golf cart per statute. You got to be licensed, and on that path, an 8-foot path, and that's about basically it.
So, do they have in the other community ordinances? Have they at all tried to because obviously if an accident occurs, it's not if it's on a path, it's not on a roadway, so it wouldn't be under the jurisdiction of law enforcement. I wouldn't think. There would be no accident report. There's no way to, and even if it happened on a roadway, my understanding, and I know this is something I've taken up at the TPA or MPO, formerly the TPA, is there's no indication for law enforcement to denote when a golf cart is involved in an accident that can be easily identified within that report, because I guess they have certain check boxes, and there's no checkbox for golf cart or electric bicycle or anything like that. So in terms of understanding, when they get into an accident, nobody really knows. But who would then be responsible? I have to assume at some point something is going to happen, either between a golf cart and a pedestrian, or a golf cart and a bicycle. Who would be responsible, and how would that work?
So we've had conversation with people, so they understand that the current process for documentation of golf carts is not broken out, but they're working on a tweaking that so we can break that out. but it had to be through law enforcement if something does happen. But we are in conversation with people so to kind of have that level of clarity that you brought up for future as we go forward, so.
Is there a way in creating this ordinance, and maybe I'm looking to the attorney, is there a way to, when creating this ordinance, that, you know, there is some methodology that's put in place to how, when, you know, or if something happens, that there, what the process would be to have it resolved? And
Theoretically, yes. I mean, but we have to think it through.
okay.
You know, what does it mean? What process? Who's going to handle what? Certainly, if we're involving PBSO in a process, we have to get their consensus and agreement. So I guess one of the questions I'd immediately ask is, how do other jurisdictions handle this when there's golf cart issues or on the road? Do they have a process? Can't there be a report to PBSO, even if it's not an accident report? So I would look at that type of thing.
All right. I think these are all things that need to be thought through. So, and I'm sure there's many more, and I'm sure my colleagues have some ideas as well.
Well, I'm just going to add, in Avenir right now on the roadway, the main roadway, there are two paths. There is what they call a multi-use path on one side, and that's 12 feet. And then on the other side is a regular sidewalk that's 8 feet. Just letting you know that. Okay. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple questions. Do we know if the municipalities require insurance? And I ask because I'm pretty positive it's not possible to get insurance on a golf cart just for what we're talking or discussing today.
I'll go ahead, Joanne.
We have one card on the side, by the way.
We did confirm that you can't register a golf cart unless it meets all of the state requirements,
Which means you can't then insure it.
and that
You
might
can't
well mean
register
you
it.
can't insure it. We didn't ask that question since we know you can't register those.
Just
But
kind of what we
pulled the
do.
ordinance for a lot of these municipalities, it says nothing about, basically having a register with the state. As long as that the state statute, as long as that the localities designate certain areas for golf carts, then that's the only requirement. Now, if you want to be on a roadway that's non-designated, then it's got to be formally registered.
So with that being said, I mean, I don't want to stop people from, they're doing it in cities. So it's like saying you can do it on this road, but not this road. That can get confusing for our residents. And I would like us to keep some level of consistency, with the municipalities. I did like, and reading through the background, I do like that, only allowing golf carts on the minimum of 8 foot. I thought it was a really great question about if there's something impeding that sidewalk. But I also do know that how does the size of that matter? Because golf carts are roughly 6 foot wide. So if there's a pole taking up a foot, are we then saying they're not allowed on that sidewalk? So those are kind of questions I have. But I do like the idea of allowing them. I do like the idea of keeping them on roads that are 30 miles per hour or less. I do know most golf carts max out at about 15 miles per hour. So I think that would be good. I don't think I'm missing. I liked I read through all the different municipalities and what they were doing. They're all pretty similar. I mean, Westlake excluded the larger roads, but I think
Right.
we're doing that just by miles per hour. Or on, those roads are going to be much
Right.
less traffic and not as large. And I think specifically, I believe it was on option 3. I've heard from a lot of people, and I think they would be in favor of going back to the way it was on option 3. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks. Oh,
Sorry, I
Go
forgot.
ahead.
And I am in favor of requiring a driver's license.
Thank you. Administrator Abruzzo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you could all hear me.
Pull the mic closer to you.
There you go.
I don't think it's
I
on.
should have just said, it is. Is it on?
Yeah, now it is.
All right, this is falling apart. We got to fix this. Yeah, wrong person to sit here. We're getting new mics by next week. I just wanted to add some context, and I came out here because I really should be speaking from that podium as a resident of the Canyons. Commissioner Weiss, I just want to let you know, I pulled my HOA docs. The Canyons do require any golf cart or vehicles to have liability insurance. And again, to add context, in that Acme Dairy region, you have the Canyons, which there are a plethora of golf carts that the community uses. One of the main uses is the traffic issue on Acme Dairy, especially for canyon trails, because there are 5 canyons, but 4 of them have egress ingress to Lyons Road, where Canyon Trails, which is the largest of all, is locked in. And you have the new middle school and developments happening all around that area. Even on the side of the middle school, there's about to be, as you're aware, a great amount of development. There's no way in and out. So the morning and evenings are extremely problematic. And in the morning, the parents, a great many of them choose to take their kids to the middle school and the grade school by golf cart. And I just want to give you factual context of what's occurring in that area of our county.
Thank you. Anything else, Vice Mayor?
No, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Sacks, you're next.
If I could ask a question of the questionnaire here over here. Is that next to Senator Joseph Abruzzo Road?
No comment.
Just want to be sure.
No
First, I'm sorry, I want to say to our mayor that you had an accident on a golf cart. I know good lawyers if you need.
Well, this was a while back, but
Yeah.
it was, it took 2 years of rehabilitation.
right?
And that's why every once in a while, you'll still hear me complain about my back.
I'm sorry. Looking at this map that we all have, kind of shows you, which is my district and where one of my best constituents live, that this has really been a wonderful asset to the folks who live here in the canyons. Also to pick up the kids. If you notice, we have the branch library, the district park. And I want to commend Joanne and David and your whole crew there, your whole team, for coming out to a meeting of the residents where they came and told us what they would want out here, because this gives them connectivity. You don't have to go in your car and take the kids to the library or take the kids to the park. You get in the golf cart. And it's also connectivity between one development and another development. So I heartily agree that this would be very good on this particular road. And as you have mapped out so well, this is what the constituents want, it's what the residents want, and I really do think it's what they need. And they've been using it, and, I know the state statutes are strict when it comes to street legal for the entire state, but let's not forget we have a development known as the Villages, where everything there is on golf cart. And they seem to be getting along pretty well over there. And just so that my mom lived there for many years, so I know a little bit about the Villages. But this is a very good thing in this area, and I thank you for taking that deep investigation into it, because it's something that we really need in certain areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Flores.
Yeah, I share some of the sentiments of my commissioners, my fellow commissioners. One, I think this provides connectivity and an easier way to move around, especially if you're within a close area. However, I don't want to sacrifice people's safety, because essentially we are now sharing a walkway with pedestrians. So whatever we put on there has to have a minimum requirement. So these golf carts have to have lights, because if they're going to be driving at night, people got to be able to see them.
Yeah.
I am in full support of having insurance on these because if somebody runs someone over and causes pain and suffering, they should get medical treatment adequately. And the way we see this a lot of times is in private communities, and it works great. But these are major roads that we are now sharing in the community. So I want to make sure that we're protecting pedestrians and that they are not going to become a casualty because we want to make it easier for some folks. I'm okay with going along with this. I am looking at option 1, and in no way, shape, or form do I want ATVs on the road, on the sidewalks. Those things go way too fast. And in Green Acres, we already have a lot of issues with ATVs riding down the canals, and PBSO is constantly after them. So I would prefer not to have ATVs on sidewalks. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The option 1, considering the posted speed limit is 30 miles per hour, we're talking about golf carts here only, which go up to 15 miles per hour. Am I correct?
Depends.
So this wouldn't be low speed,
Option 1, Commissioners, only for the sidewalks.
15 miles per hour on the sidewalk.
That's right. The long map shows Acme Dairy Road. There is an 8-foot sidewalk on the western side of Acme Dairy Road. It's like a multi-use pathway, and we're proposing being that golf cart eligible.
This,
Not on the roadway, but the multi-use pathway.
under option 1, would that, and it says still an ordinance will need to be presented to the county, would that only be for that particular stretch of road, or are we talking about countywide and all
No,
county roads?
just that location. Option 2 is potentially looking at countywide, want to do some research by district in terms of what we would recommend for a golf cart area, not just blanket all 800 miles of road. We would just look at designated areas that fits that local community.
I think keeping it limited in scope is likely the best idea. Mayor Marino indicated being involved in a golf cart accident, and thankfully, you're alive. You're here because I do know of instances where people have been in a car and a golf cart collision. Is not a good deal. The car wins, and people have lost their lives if they're in a golf cart. So it gives me a reason to be skeptical. However, if it's in limited use and the scope is narrowed for that particular area, which provides some opportunity for parents to safely get their children to and from school and we put proper measures in to mitigate any harmful impacts to people who are pedestrians, as well as the limiting any contact between golf carts and cars, I would be in favor of option 1. But that, again, making sure that it's limited in scope, narrow in scope, and for that particular area.
Thank you. Ironically, the golf cart accident that I was in was with 2 golf carts. We got T-boned because the hedges were so high. One part traveling on one path couldn't see us traveling on another path, saw us. When they finally saw us, it was to make contact with us. But
Sorry that happened.
yeah. And then I've been on a golf course where I've seen carts in drainage hazards and all kinds of things. So golf carts are an interesting proposition. And, we forget we're doing a countywide transportation master plan. Patrick, have we talked about golf carts at all? Because, this is sort of feeds right into what we're doing. We're looking at all options, and if we start, we know we can't build a lot new roadways, but can we build wider multi-use paths that can accommodate golf carts?
All modes of transportation, same way bikes, e-bikes, golf carts, ATV, everything is being contemplated.
But I think the thing that needs to be not only contemplated, but really thought about is who does have the right of way. I mean, when you're in the water, it's the bigger boat has the right of way, but, when you're on a multi-use path, is it a bike or is it a cart path or is it the person walking? So that needs clarification too. Commissioner Flores.
I just want to say this one more time. I'm okay with exploring multiple ways to get around. We have to keep people safe, though. It has to be in a way that is regulated and that people are being kept safe. It can't be the Wild Wild West. So I just want to clarify that we always keep that top of mind.
Okay, well, staff has given us 3 options. We can move forward any 1, 2, or 3 of them that we like. So why don't we go ahead and give them our opinions on those? So, and we do, I apologize, we have 1 card from the public.
It looks like, if I pronounce this correctly, is it Andrea Efron?
Hi, how are you? My name's Andrea Efron. I also live in Canyon Trails, so it's nice to, yes, hi neighbor. So I actually have been reaching out to Maria Sachs's office for about 3 years. She's been great and her team have been great and everybody that's been involved in this initiative. We did have a meeting at the beautiful new library that we all took by golf cart to get there, by the way, or LSV. I know there's a fine line here. So, and it was great because, we do have, it's a way of life for so many of us in the community, just like it is in so many other areas of Florida. There's places like Nocatee, which is up in northern Florida, that kind of, like what you had mentioned, that it's just a way of life. Publix has 20 parking spots for golf carts, and the schools have, because we don't have the school buses, we only have about 2 school buses that go to Sunset Palm. So everybody has to walk or ride a bike, get dropped off. The car line is insane. We all park at Publix, walk down Boynton Beach Boulevard with our kids and drop them off. So many of us have golf carts to be able to, get around the area, which frankly, we don't really need to leave our area very much anymore since the development has been so amazing in that area. So for us, that, we really have been looking at this for many years, and as more and more people get golf carts, it's becoming bigger of a community. We have golf cart parades. We have, we just been going around and looking at Halloween decorations. So it's been a great thing. It's been safe. The HOAs are definitely interested. They're happy to accommodate it. Most of us, I very rarely see golf carts that don't have a license plate, that aren't registered and insured. And people buy them, they get them registered and insured right away. And, it seems to be that the majority of the people that we see are registered and insured. So for us, it's, most golf carts, they're only about 48 to 50 inches. And I know the sidewalks are 8 feet, are 8 feet wide. So having just that 4 feet of space on the sidewalks, there's definitely space for it. And with the grass that's there, it's so wide that when somebody's coming on a bicycle, the golf carts go off to the side on the grass. It's not like we have to jump into the road or anything like that. We move over to the side and we continue on. So, I know in some other areas, their sidewalks actually have a line that has some portion for walking and biking, and the other portion is for the golf carts to be able to travel. The school pickup and drop off, I know that's kind of down the line, and with meeting with maybe the schools and stuff like that, but getting a better access into the schools to be able to pick up and drop off. I know that you've received a lot of calls regarding the backup on Acme Dairy recently. And, I think there's so many people that want to see that change and see alternative ways. And we're definitely looking forward to this. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Sachs.
Yeah, Ms. Efron, you can stay up there for a minute.
Ms. Efron, come on back.
See, thank you. What she just said, and I'm looking at my colleagues, is so indicative of a particular area, the connectivity. And we have a map, and thank you so much for engineering department for providing that map. If you look at that map, you can see you have all the canyon different HOAs, and then you see the connectivity over to the school and to the library. Wow, that Canyon Bretch Library is amazing.
Beautiful.
Awesome. And it is all together as a culture that the families use with these golf carts. So, and the families are very responsible. You don't see a lot of craziness out there. And they did have a meeting, residents meeting that concerned my office and engineering. And we went out there, we discussed it with them. And we looked at the roads and we studied it. So if there's any commissioner that has a particular area in their district that would be well served by this, and I'm even thinking of, of Commissioner Weiss, some of those areas in there, it really brings people together. It's a wonderful community thing. And I'm just thinking of Halloween coming up right now. You can stash all those trick and treats right there in the golf cart.
Halloween is very big in our community, and we love the parade, so.
And all that is with golf carts. So I want to thank you, Ms. Efron, for getting your community together. I want to thank our engineering department for listening to our residents and examining, analyzing this, and giving us different options. So thank you so much, Ms. Efron. And thank you to my colleagues for looking at the different areas. And I look forward to our transportation modal plan coming up, looking at different types of transportation as well. Thank you, Ms. Carroll, for that. Okay, thanks, Madam.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Sachs. Yes, we do have, in fact, I've got a community, and I mentioned it to Joanne when we had our meeting, Pioneer Road, which is really an interesting, it's a rural enclave, and they do drive around there in their golf carts. Unfortunately, we get some crazy drivers there too, because they've got a 1 mile stretch of unimpeded roadway, and that goes straight and flat. And so I worry about our constituents there, but somehow, so I think there are definitely areas of applications. I did want to ask engineering though, because we talked about the golf carts, but then, and we've also now talked about the low-speed vehicles, which are beyond a golf cart.
Right.
They are street legal, they are registered, but they also can go above, I believe, they can go up to 35 miles an hour.
25 plus, I think, sometimes. Yeah.
Maximum is 25.
Maximum is 25?
25.
Okay. And the maximum on the golf cart is 15?
15. 20?
20. So you can have, it gives me a little bit of pause when we're talking about vehicles going 30 miles an hour with pedestrians. I like the idea of the separated sides that to keep them for a safe place for pedestrians. And I don't, when they're coming head on, the pedestrians can see the approaching, but when they're behind them, I worry they wouldn't, because they're quiet, they're very quiet, they're electric, and they're very quiet. I would worry that if they're not paying attention, and we know, I'm sure people do it, we know they're doing it in their cars, I have to assume they're doing it in their golf carts, which is they're on these things, and they're not paying 100% attention. So, I think whatever other safety measures we can put in place to keep the pedestrians and people who are on non-motorized bicycles separated and away from those vehicles. I think that's something we need to think about. But I agree. I think you've identified an area where this certainly makes sense, and I agree. There's I'm sure, numerous other places. Where I live in the city of West Palm Beach, we're all in a little residential enclave. Well, most of us are, that's the way our neighborhoods are. And so I see golf carts zipping up and down the city streets all the time. So they're here, and I shared a picture with Joanne today. I was down at South Olive Elementary. They actually have designated parking places for golf carts at the school. So they're here. We've got to figure out a way to make everything work, but we need to do it in a safe way. So thanks.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter.
And just echoing the sentiments of my fellow commissioners, we do definitely want to keep residents safe, absolutely. I would like just some clarification on what you're taking away from today to this point.
Well, we heard that we definitely want to make sure that they're licensed, have insurance requirements. We'll work with PBSL in terms of make sure that from a law enforcement standpoint, we can break out the golf carts in terms of issues. For the option number one, it's already, they have an existing 8-foot pathway and connectivity with the elementary and small school, which is good. For option number two, we would have to come back and work with each commissioner in terms of a designated area within that district. But there's over 800 miles potential that we.
David, I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. So only in, are we talking all county roads 30 miles per hour and under? Are we talking, you're saying specific designated areas?
Well, so we've given you a map that shows 800 miles worth of roads under 35 miles an hour.
Okay.
They're eligible, potentially be designated for golf cart eligible roads. For us to come back with some specific recommendation, we would have to do some more research by district in terms of what we would look at by those communities. We would not recommend designating all those as a blanket for golf.
So you'll come back to us with the roads of where it would then be allowed?
Right, that's correct. We can do that. That'll take some more homework. But the one, for option number one, that will not take us along to develop an ordinance for option number one. For other future potential smaller communities, we'll have to do some research and come back on a case-by-case basis once we do some more homework on those areas within each district.
Mm-hmm. And then continue, you said, and then you're talking about schools?
Yeah, I just talking about for option number one, there's connectivity already with those elementary middle school, so it's really a no-brainer, and you just heard from one of the residents that they really advocate for that, so.
And then also, and then repealing and 3 to what it was in 2007?
For the ATV, that's, we would have to, for that, we had some conversation with people, so they have some concerns, we'll have to, get with them in terms of this potential direction to get their input, so.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you. One of our commissioners noted that we're getting a WSP consultants workshop. I think, when is that, Ms. Carroll? Is that November?
November 5th, we're bringing back
That
the...
November 5th? Okay. There has been a discussion for many years, and it was on our TPA at that time, that alternative transportation modes, which is basically street legal, non-street legal, electric bikes, electric scooters, maybe electric wheelchairs, who knows? But these are alternatives to gasoline emission. And I would like them to take and I'm sure they are, but I just want to confirm that our WSP consultants are going to take a look at what some of the commissioners have been talking about, which is alternative roadways. And the FDOT showed it to me, and they have this actually in Manhattan. They'll have, let's say, 3 lanes of fast cars, and then they have a parking lane. And between the parking lane and the sidewalk is where all the bicycles and the electric vehicles go, small electric vehicles, because they're services. They're delivered. They go fast, but they can't, it's not like, our mayor, poor mayor, where there was a collision between, you get a collision between a golf cart or any kind of small electric vehicle, you're going to be in trouble. So I'm sure that they will look at that, because Atlantic Avenue between 441 and the Turnpike, they're already looking at this alternative pathway for, for these type of, they call them alternative modals of transportation. And so I would look forward to getting that also from WSP. And if I need to do anything to promote that, just let me know. Okay, Ms. Carroll? Because I think it's good. We're growing, and the connectivity is important in all of our communities. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Patrick, did you want to add?
I'll just confirm that that's being looked at, yes.
Thank you. I have no more lights on, but Commissioner Flores, you look like you have a question.
I mean, we explored 3 options. Which one are we going with?
Well, it's not, we don't have to pick 1, 2, or 3. We're going to give direction as to which one, what we feel about each one of them.
Okay.
Okay? And I think all of us from option 1, if I can speak for the board, I believe we're all in favor of option 1. moving that forward, figuring out a way to make that work. Option 2, we never really actually, as a board, came to a conclusion with option 2. I'll be happy to give my opinion. I think we stick with option 1, sort of like a pilot program, and see how successful it is before we just unleash golf carts all over the county. So that is, of course, only my opinion, and I'm happy to hear anybody else on that. Commissioner Flores?
I agree with that, and that would also allow staff time to see what roads in each district are adequate.
Everybody comfortable with that? Okay, let's move on to option 3, which is totally different than golf carts. So again, would you spell out what option 3 actually means? Because we have an ordinance in place. We had one that was repealed. We talked about 3 different types of vehicles. So this one is for ATVs, but I think Commissioner Flores was not exactly in favor of this one. And so I'd like to hear more comments on this.
So in Green Acres, for my 7 years there, we had a lot of issues with kids riding their ATVs and their bikes on the canal, which is extremely dangerous. They can fall in, they could have many accidents, and it's happened. So I am not in favor of that, because what they do is they ride on the roads, they pop wheelies, they do all these things. Then when the cops go after them, they cut through the canals, and it creates all sorts of chaos. So I have lived this. I am against it, and I'm pretty sure PBSO would be against this too.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you. And I think I represented parts of Green Acres while we were dealing with that at that time. And there's other parts of our district where we have had this issue with these ATVs. Unfortunately, it's just, and the other thing is law enforcement's not allowed to pursue them. It is illegal, or not, I shouldn't say illegal, it's not their policy, because it's too dangerous for the people riding these vehicles, and so law enforcement will not pursue them if they're doing something illegal. And I think it sets up a bad, potentially a bad impact between vehicles that are operating as licensed drivers and people that are out just joyriding. I think we've offered a place actually to create an ATV park here in Palm Beach County. We offered up our land if somebody was willing to build it, which I think is the best alternative. Is they are they're designed for off-road use, and I love riding them. I've had the opportunity to do that many times in my life, but I just, on the roadways, I think it's potentially just too dangerous.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter?
I agree that I don't want them on paved roads. This was specifically to unpaved roads. This had nothing to do with paved roads, and I believe there are always bad actors when we discuss any particular issue. Sure. What I hate is for us to make a policy based or non-repeal, based on just, those bad actors who ruin it for everyone. That's not right either. So there should be room, and I do believe this was even in place when what Commissioner Flores was talking about, this was in place and it didn't stop them. So this just allows people who want to do the proper thing, who want to do what's right, to be able to be there without getting in trouble. And I know firsthand that PBSO does stop people who are improperly using their ATVs. So I don't know why we would think that wouldn't be a thing.
So going back to option 3, because you have two different bullet points here unrelated to golf carts. We enacted an ordinance in 2007. What brought about that ordinance, and why did it replace the next bullet point?
Commissioner Mayor, to give some context, there was a state ordinance to prevent ATVs on paved roadways, and the board at the time took further direction to make it more restrictive to include unpaved roadways. And so that's why that ordinance was enacted. So there was a state ordinance talked about paved roadways, no ATVs, and the board at that time decided to make it even more restrictive, including unpaved roadways.
So this was a board decision in 2007?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we are, sure, Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you. When we're talking about unpaved roadways, does that include Indian Trails Improvement District?
Those aren't county roads.
Only county maintained roadways, basically.
So okay, because if I included them, I would want to have their advice on that as well. Okay.
The map that you have labeled Palm Beach County maintained roads 35 miles per hour or less has dashed lines to indicate the roads that it would apply to that are unpaved. So in the Indian Trail Improvement District area, there is a dashed red line, for instance, west of Westlake.
So how would they get there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've got some indecision about this one, so I'm looking to the rest of my board. I think Vice Mayor Baxter is in favor, but it sounds suspiciously quiet with the rest of the board on this one. Commissioner Powell, you want to weigh in? No? Yes? No? Commissioner Weiss already weighed in and said he wasn't in favor. Commissioner Flores said he wasn't in favor. Commissioner Sachs?
You have to come look at it, something to alleviate.
So what we would be voting on now, Mayor, would be option 3,
Repealing.
which would mean then that ATVs would now be able to operate just about anywhere on an unpaved road where well, if it's unpaved, it's probably doesn't have a posted speed limit anyways. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think our kids like it. It's a good place for them to have some fun. If it's unpaved, that means that there's not going to be gas emission vehicles on that road. So I don't see any reason why, if there has been any study to show that there's been a lot of issues, but I can't imagine the only thing they would hit is probably a tree or a raccoon. But we have a lot of open terrain in District 5, part agriculture, part that goes along the turnpike. And I don't see any reason why we would restrict them at this time.
Commissioner Weiss?
One other question. These are licensed vehicles, correct?
Yes, the statute requires that they be a licensed driver to operate ATVs.
Are the vehicles themselves licensed or registered? Do they have lights?
They're fun.
The statute only says that it has to be operated by a licensed driver, and that the operator has to provide proof of ownership. That's all that the statute
This
says.
is unpaved road.
And no insurance?
It's not required by the statute. No. And just to clarify, so you have the state statute that says that the ATVs are prohibited on public roads.
Right.
But a county, but under the statute, the county is exempt that the ATVs may be operated on unpaved roads. Then the county went ahead in '07 and passed the ordinance banning unpaved. So essentially, you had a ban on paved and unpaved public roads. So the statute
They were
also.
never, but the statute, they were never legal on paved roadways.
Correct. By the statute, they're not legal on paved roads, correct? Public paved roads.
So what we're discussing now is whether to allow them on unpaved county roads with a
That's correct.
speed limit of less than 35 miles an hour.
But they can go much
In daytime
faster than
use only.
35 miles an hour.
They still have to abide by laws.
Administrator Bruzzo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What you have in the canyons and residents here, So the resident talked about the large grass areas on the side of the 8-foot roadways. So what often occurs is you have kids or ATV riders riding on the side. So you have your kids walking to school, you have golf carts, but then you have dirt bikes and ATVs right to the left of that road, and they're whipping through. So that is what's occurring in this specific area.
I have a lot of unpaved roadway up in my community, and quite frankly, I've heard lots of complaints from residents right now about the behavior of a lot of those folks on ATVs. And I apologize to the vice mayor because I know she's in support of this, but I've seen and heard from too many of my residents up there that complain about the ATVs on the roadway, and they're not legal now. So I can't imagine what would happen if they were. So I am not particularly in favor of repealing this at this point in time. And Commissioner Sachs, your light is on.
Just have one question. Why are we doing this? Is there a compelling reason? In other words, has research shown that there's thousands of accidents, or hundreds of accidents that have occurred? Why are we doing this today?
We try to look at all modes of transportation, and so and during our research for this presentation, we looked at all options, and this was one of the options.
I'd like to have, most respectfully,
Sure.
a little bit of research on which, have we had accidents, has it disrupted traffic? How will I make my decision other than anecdotally? And as a Board of County Commission, I just feel uncomfortable making a decision on a law that I don't have any background on. So that would be my request. Madam Mayor, give me a little information. How many ATVs do we have, and are they disrupting the roads? Maybe this will come up, and also we can review it in the WSB. But I just hesitate to make a decision on a law that's going to affect thousands of people without having a little better, without having information as to
We can do
the
that.
basis. But
No
could I
problem.
move for that, Mayor?
I've got the vice mayor, and I think she's going to
Direction to bring us back, how many actual accidents, how many is this? Because we always seem to hear about, you only hear about the worst case, the one or two. Again, there's always bad actors.
accidents and damage.
Please.
And then to clarify, I believe we should only look at those for county-maintained roads because those are the only roads that our repeal ordinance would apply to.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Commissioner Flores.
If we're going to look at that, also look at incidents with law enforcement, because I know that we have tons.
All righty. Yeah, what is the interaction with law enforcement right now, and what are their capabilities in response to this? Sound good? Administrator Abruzzo, you got a little head shake going on there?
Thank you, Mayor. I just know each area is different, where in Commissioner Baxter's district, in the acreage, it's a lot different than this condensed area right in the canyons. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Yeah, and so in my district, I have Jupiter Farms and Palm Beach Country Estates, which is wide open, and some paved a roadway and some dirt roadway. So, and actually the complaints I've gotten have been in Jupiter Farms. So, and that is a lot of dirt roadway network. So I think you have your board direction for this? Okay.
We'll come back. Wait a second. We'll come back with option one with an ordinance that specifies in terms of that location. Option number two, we will get with each district commission, look at potential areas where we potentially could look at certain roads within that district for potential options further on. Option number three, we will do some research on accidents, incidents with PPSO only on county-maintained roadways.
Thank you very much.
Is that clear?
That is clear.
All right, thank you much.
You're welcome. And thank you for this, because this was a board direction to you a while back. So obviously, our board direction seems to continue, and we're always asking for more information. But I think what you hear is when we're going to present something like this, data is what will help us. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
That is actually the end of our regular agenda. So we'll go to comments. County Attorney, any comments? Planning Director, any comments?
No, just a reminder that we have 3 more countywide transportation public meeting coming up next week. One in North County on the 28th in the Gardens at 6 o'clock. And then we have another one in the Central County at Green Acres Community Center on the 29th. And then we'll have a countywide virtual one on the 30th at 6 o'clock, all at night. So hopefully that'll be more opportunities for everybody to join in the polling and all the exercise. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. And if people want more information about the countywide transportation master plan, you can go on the website at pbcmoves.com. And then you can also, if you want more information or if you want to give us some feedback, there is a box there with you where you can fill out with your name and information and whatever questions or information you want to pass along to us. Thank you. Zoning Director.
No more comments.
Thank you. PZB Executive Director.
Yes, I'd just like to, one more time, thank Lisa Amara for serving as our zoning director. We're really going to miss her. I know a lot of people are going to miss you. Thank you. And then to also recognize Wendy and just thank you for stepping up to serve as interim zoning director. So yeah, we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Deputy County Administrator. Okay. Anybody on the board have anything they'd like to share? Commissioner Sachs, you
I don't
turned your
want
mic
Lisa
on.
to leave. That's what I want to say. When's your last day? You'll be here for a while, right, Lisa? No, I think we should have a seat right up here with your name on
I'm
it.
going to cooperative extension, so I'm still a county employee. I'll just be
No,
working
that's
with-
agriculture,
So I'm,
though.
yeah, but ag reserve too, so.
I know, I'm looking for, but I'd like, maybe we could do this one day to have like little plates up here with names of beautiful people, wonderful people who have served us. I could put mine back here too. Lisa, you've been wonderful and really not just very knowledgeable and professional, but also you listen. You're very compassionate. That means a lot. So we'll find you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, and I want to send my thanks to Lisa as well. It's been, I know you're not leaving the county, but you're leaving this position. It has been an absolute pleasure and honor to work with you in this position, and you've done a magnificent job. We'll miss your institutional knowledge as it relates to so much of what comes before us. You know a lot about how this all came about. So. But the county's not losing that, so that's a wonderful thing. And I have 6 kittens at home, and so, I don't know if you're ready for some more, but.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Flores.
Since everybody's giving Lisa their flowers, I want to. No, I just want to say, Lisa, thank you so much for everything that you have done. I'm glad that you're staying with the county. But whenever you see something that you need to speak out about, you call us or you text us, please. I don't want you to go off to this department and not have a say. I value your input and your opinion, so I'm here to listen to anything you have to tell us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board comments? No? Okay. I do want to say that Greg and I actually were at Loggerhead Marine Life Center yesterday, and I'd like to announce that Loggerhead Marine Life, for the 2nd year in a row, by People's Choice USA Today, is the best free attraction in the United States, beating out the Golden Gate Bridge and Central Park and something in the Smoky Mountains. So kudos to Loggerhead. They went through a little tumultuous time a couple years ago and were successful in bringing Andy DeHart on board. And now you see turtles and you see them fulfilling their mission in a fabulous way. And I just want to say thank you. Our park staff is not here, but they do a yeoman's job out there too. And thank you to all. Thank you to Lisa also for everything you do. And I know your phone number, so if I have questions, I'm calling you. And we have no other comments, so with that, we're adjourned. Thank you so much. Okay, our weapons. Can we do something?
Welcome to Inside PBC, where we highlight what's going on inside Palm Beach County. Are you considering buying your first home? You can learn the steps to home ownership and home buying programs in Palm Beach County. There are 2 sessions which must be completed to meet the requirements for down payment assistance programs. Cooperative Extension provides the 2 4-hour workshops. You can take part in the